Warner Bros. Reportedly turned down an animated Mortal Kombat vs. DC movie. DC and Mortal Kombat faced off in the video game world, but Warner Bros. Shows no interest in an animated film crossover. This was published by Stephen Thrash 15 hours ago on the MovieWeb website. In 2008, the crossover event Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe dropped on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 platforms. I actually played it on the Xbox 360. It wasn't a great fighting game, but it was pretty fun. At the time when I played it anyway, I mean I was pretty young and pretty much anything could have been considered fun, so keep that in mind. However, despite the success of the game, Warner Bros. Turned down the opportunity to make an animated crossover movie. Supernatural writer Jeremy Adams said in an exclusive interview with comicbook.com, "I would lower your expectations. I don't know if they have any plans to do more. I do know that we pitched that a while ago, but it was kind of rebuffed." Jeremy has quite a bit of a cinematography here. In addition to writing the animated titles, Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge, which is a pretty good movie, I definitely recommend that one. I didn't watch the other ones yet. Mortal Kombat Legends, Snowblind, and Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms, he wrote 25 episodes of DC Superhero Girls. He also penned Batman Soul of the Dragon, Justice Society, World War II, and most recently Justice League Warworld. Justice League Warworld, my gosh, is a movie that I actually have downloaded and I was going to watch, but I never quite got to it. I don't know if I'll cover it and review it. We'll see how that goes. There's a lot of DC stuff that I'd like to talk about in the future, but not quite now. I'm seeing how copyright works with some other stuff, given the fact that the Walking Dead video was just taken down before I could even get it up, even though it's been scheduled to premiere for days. I guess that sucks, but we'll see how I can work that out. I'm disputing it right now. Back to the article. Adams said in the same interview, "Well, I think at the end of the day, I don't know if they're ever going to do anymore. I hope they do, and I hope they call me to be involved. That would be great because I really love it. But I don't know. I think it would be really cool though, trust me. I love seeing a DC Mortal Kombat. That would be super, super cool." They did make a movie that coincides with the Injustice game a little bit, but it wasn't very good, so I don't know if they did a Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe movie, if it would actually be able to live up to the expectations held for it. Not that there are very high ones, given how mediocre I remember the game, and I did enjoy the game, so I'm not entirely sure, but the 2021 animated film right here, Injustice, it wasn't that good. They don't talk about how it didn't make much money here, so I don't know if it actually did. They say its video game was popular, and that's what led to the animated film. Not that the animated film was popular, but it wasn't a very good movie, and the game is fun. I love the Injustice games, but the movie itself was extremely rushed, so if they make a Mortal Kombat vs. DC movie, they have to do it in parts. They have to. It has to be a part 1, part 2 type thing. If they rush it like they did the Injustice film, it's just not worth watching. There's just too much cut out. And yet somehow there's moments that feel too slow too. The pacing was all over the place. It wasn't great. But the fact that they turned it down is really rough. Because just seeing this screenshot is something that will get people hyped up. People love the fact that Sub-Zero was in Injustice 2, I believe. That was something that a lot of people liked. They loved that Scorpion was in the first one. They like when Injustice characters like the Joker pops into a Mortal Kombat game. That is stuff that people like. So this crossover would have a lot of people's heads look in that direction, but I don't know if it'd be worth it. I don't know if people would enjoy it. I don't know if it's something that people would actually go out of their way to watch. So it may have been a good financial move to reject it, even though both those game series do rake in quite the amount of money. I don't know how the animated spin-offs seem to do. Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge was a really good movie, but I've never met another person that actually watched it, especially when it released. Now that it's gaining more traction, I probably could. I have some friends that were like, "Oh, there was a Scorpion movie, that's cool." And I'm like, "Dog, you didn't know that?" Me either. Not until I watched it. So they might be making the right decision here, I'm not entirely sure, but what I do know is the idea of a Mortal Kombat vs. DC movie is a good idea. I think that they should keep the roster very short if they do go about it. Have 4 or 5 Justice League members, and not like the Justice League Unlimited cast we got going on here. Just have a few of them, maybe build them up like they're doing the Mortal Kombat members, where we have a Batman movie in the same vein, or maybe take them from other iterations of those movies that are already out, like the current Batman, take that Batman and put him in there or something like that. But don't create a new Batman with a new voice actor and a new design and a slightly similar personality, but doesn't quite feel the same, and then throw him in with the same cast as the other movies. There has to be some consistency there. There's also some heroes that will have to be there. Like, no matter what, we have to have Batman. No matter what, Superman would have to be there. No matter what, there'd probably have to be a Wonder Woman. Because those are the characters that people know, people love, and those are the ones that'll get the clicks. If you go and you put more unknown characters in there, that's where you're not going to get it. You have to stay with the basics, at least at first. If you're going by the game storyline, there's a fairly decent roster there. I don't know if they should do that though. The game story was pretty hammy, pretty wacky. It wasn't awful, but I don't believe it would translate well to an animated movie. I think they need to take a far more serious route, but one that is still grounded, you know what I mean? One that doesn't go so serious that it feels kind of like a parody. They have to find a good mesh between the seriousness of the Mortal Kombat games and the serious nature of the Injustice ones. But they also have to put in characters that they're willing to kill off. So they're going to have at least maybe Nightwing, since they love treating Nightwing like trash just to kill him off. Something like that. They'd have to have some semblance of stakes, okay? Mortal Kombat is all about butchering each other. So if you're throwing Injustice in there too, somebody has to die from both sides. So that's also something they'd have to take into account. And I understand if they're like scared to death to go out of their way and kill off a well-known superhero. But if it's not one that has any sort of urgency behind it, not a character that people care about, that's another thing that's gonna be a problem. So, I don't know. I get why they shelved it, because it's gonna be something that is a very, very thin tightrope to have to walk across. If it's too much just killing each other, people won't like it if the story's not good enough. If it's too much story and there's not enough death, people won't like it. There's gotta be a good balance between a serious story and a very good action-packed romp at times. I think they could do it. I think there is a potential for it to work, but I completely understand why they decided not to try it. But I saw it and it caught my attention, so I decided, screw it, let's talk about it a little bit. I can share my thoughts, rant about it, get it off the brain, see if any of you guys feel the same way, or if you have a totally different opinion of what you would want in a Mortal Kombat vs. DC movie. Let me know in the comments below. For more news, reviews, and whatever we choose, stay tuned to Nerdsfeed. Have a great day. Thank you.